Oh, pigeon. Huh? Huh? Come on. No. Ah. Oh, I think I got him. I can't wait to show this to the... Oh yeah, very funny. Who doesn't love the Game Boy? This beast of a handheld boasted a staggering and memorable library of video games. The Super Mario Land games, Tetris, Pokemon Red, Blue, Green and Yellow, Tetris, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Did I already mention Tetris? And as if the console wasn't already wonderfully abundant with its selection of games, Nintendo decided this isn't enough. We're not stopping until our precious little baby Brick can do more than just video games. It'll help us with our sewing and our fishing. Fish. Unfortunately, this equipment was more obscure as well as expensive, and I don't have the patience for fishing unless it's Animal Crossing. We're here to reminisce over the more well-known peripheral of Nintendo's beloved handheld, the Game Boy camera. Released in 1998, it gave gamers the power to take photos on their lovely little handheld. And look at this, it's a camera that you can rotate to show what's in front of you, or facing you. Basically, it took selfies before they were considered mainstream. Let's take a look at what the camera can do. Once you go into the title screen, you're greeted by a dancing Mario. Holding down on the D-pad slows him down, and holding up... Oh, look at him go! We have three options at the beginning. There's shoot, view, and play. Let's start with the shoot option. In this section, your options are as follows. First off is shoot. It gives you the basic camera. You can adjust brightness with up and down on the D-pad, contrast with left and right, you take a picture, and then it'll ask you if you want to save. Press A to do so and it saves to your album. Simple. Items. This gives the self-timer and time-lapse options. Self-timer is, well, pretty self-explanatory. You set a timer for when the photo will be taken after pressing the A button. Then time-lapse lets you choose how many photos are taken and within what period of time. After the first photo, it counts down even for as long as... a whole hour? I hope your Game Boy's packing Duracell. The magic option is where the goofy stuff happens. In this section you'll have four options. The first is the trick lens. Make distorted images that look like something that belongs in those old YouTube poops.
Nice.
You squish your face, widen your face, make four of the same panels of said face, make four unique panels of, well, anything.
Perfect.
Montage. This gives you the variation of extra wonky patterns to choose from outside of image distortion. You take photos within photos and photos of two different halves, etc. Panorama lets you take panoramic images. You can choose between a wide or a tall panoramic image, and how it works is, once you pick between the two, you then take up to 4 separate photos. Once you've taken a photo, the camera shows the edge of a previous image as a reference to help you with the next shot. Below the lens option is print. If you've got photos saved already, you can select between the photos saved in your album to print off via the Game Boy printer. Lastly in this section we have Game Face. With Shoot you basically take 4 photos, ideally of yourself or someone's face, which will be used in the built-in minigames. This leads us to the Play option. Play is basically the old ball game and watch game, but with the faces you took earlier. Doodle lets you graffiti on these faces, or add stamps to them. Going back to the Shoot options, Check basically lets you skim across the saved photos you have and make adjustments to them. You can also do this on View Mode's album, which we'll get to soon. And lastly is Run. This is a weird option, and doesn't have much function besides getting this image, or oh god. Oh. Speaking of run, I think I'm going to do that myself. Running away. Frightening images aside, it's time to move on to the View option. In View mode you can check your album and go through your images that you've taken. Once you select an image, you have various options. First is Print, for those of you with a Game Boy printer. There's Paint to write on your images, like so. If you want something a little neater, you can add stamps. Add silly little features to a friend's face, like a snout. Or add letters. And Pokemon, believe it or not, as well as a few Mario characters. Wow! Frame lets you change the frame that surrounds the image with one of 18 different patterns to better suit your style. You can also comment on images. Press start and a selection of letters will appear and you can type virtually anything here. Finally, you can delete images that you're not happy with the delete option. Next to the album is the show option. The first option in this menu is slideshow, which is exactly that. It goes through all of your saved images. Next, animation. On here we oh, not you again, go away! Okay, well, apparently we need to actually create an animation, so we'll come back later. What about hotspot? I'm just poking at an image here. Okay, so while making the script for this video, I looked a couple of things up. If you go back to the menu and press select, you get 4 more options appear. There's another shortcut for doodling and adding stamps to your images. Link lets you print your images through the printer, and Transfer lets you send and receive images to and from another Game Boy camera via link cable. If you go to the album option on Edit, it lets you pick images to delete a bit quicker. Here we go, the animation option. Here you can choose images in whatever order you like to create an animation of sorts. Choose one of the reels at the bottom and hold the A button while selecting an image from the clips up top. You can use ones that you've saved, or default images that the Game Boy camera comes with. You can also choose the speed that images are displayed as well as the frames. Lastly in this, hidden spot is special. Hotspot lets you take an image from your images and add, well, hotspots, so when someone pokes away at an image in hotspot mode, they might end up finding a silly little surprise, varying from sound effects, images, or jumping to another image. Compose lets you split images or fuse them together. It's weird, but it's also kind of intriguing. Right, time for a break with the Play menu. You'll be greeted by a sort of shoot-'em-up interface, and if you leave the ships alone, you play a silly little shmup called Space Fever. Shoot a couple of guys down, followed by someone's face. Shooting the ship marked B at the start lets you play the ball game again. And shooting the D ship plays DJ. You can actually make your own little looped melody with extra sound effects, and one of them lets you play London Bridge for some reason. Now, I'm not the most musically inclined, but I decided to give this little feature a go. Sometimes you'll come across a ship with a question mark, and this lets you play the run, run, run game. Just mash A to run and press up on the D-pad to jump past hurdles as you race to beat a couple of animals to the finish. And that's pretty much it. I also have a Japanese Game Boy camera. Although there aren't that many differences, here are some between this and its Western counterparts. You have a different version of Mario dancing at the title screen and, in the Japanese version, the shoot and view options are the other way around. Also, the main difference being the Japanese version will have some differing stamps and frames for modifying your photos. It also has a few different default pictures as well. It's honestly surprising how much the Game Boy camera is packed with. Not just a camera, but ways to modify photos and even print them off, although in this day and age there are a couple of drawbacks to the device. Unfortunately, I do not have a Game Boy printer. I don't plan on getting one either because 1, it needs 6 AA batteries to operate. It also requires the right link cables to link to your Game Boy, which I believe are sold separately, and lastly, I've got the wonders of today's technology to print things off, including this printer, but I'll get to that in a moment. The Game Boy camera can hold up to 30 photos, but after that, if you want to take more, you'll have to delete some or spend money on another Game Boy camera if you're feeling too sentimental with your photos, like I tend to be. There are a few videos out there with different ways to save your photos, my method being the following. I have an analog pocket, which I was fortunate enough to purchase before CEX and the scalpers could grab them and raise their prices, as well as a micro SD card, and a recent update for the analog pocket to take screenshots. Once I've taken the photo on my Game Boy camera, changed the frame and made suitable adjustments, I just press start in the menu button to save the screenshot and voila! Better yet, if you don't feel like using up AA batteries and prefer something you can recharge and you've got some cash to spare, you can buy yourself a mini printer like this one. It can also print off stickers. Another reason it's back in use is simply because of the retro aesthetic. Sure, the specs are a 128x128 CMOS camera that comes out with 128x112 pixel images, but you'd still be surprised with the images that come out of it if you're in the right place with the right lighting and setup. So how do we make the best of such a tiny device? Sometimes I like to get creative. Here's a Lapras at the beach. Here's an old photo from a trip to Japan. And another one. I also thought to myself, why not go one step further and really wow people with this old bit of kit? So to do that, I went to a convention. An anime convention. Oh wow. Could I take a picture with my Game Boy camera? Strike a pose for me. While I was exploring and asking people for photos, I've noticed how positively folks have reacted to these images, a couple of which have even asked me to send them after the convention, and it was honestly rather endearing.
Ooh, that's so cool.
I think photography is a fun and intriguing hobby. A hobby like this one, I feel, can be a solid pastime and can work wonders for people's mental health during more trying times, especially if it's a passion project. If it makes other people happy, even better. The nostalgia factor is probably its biggest appeal, which is one of the reasons people are using it again. The other reason being new, innovative ways to use the camera, and I can't wait to see what new ideas everyone brings to the table. I love the Game Boy camera. It's crazy how one little gadget can still do so much even today. You can have a good laugh.
Give me like a Waluigi.
You can make art. And you can even make lasting memories.
With a high score of 326,113.
Smile for the Game Boy camera! Ah. Damn. That could have gone better. I wish I had one of those modded cameras. Hang on, I think I can save this. Ah. That's better. Oh, it's you. Thanks, man.